Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades and the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, if you're not in the room, you should be. You can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please subscribe if you haven't already and like the video because these take a long time to make and I really appreciate that. And this is how you learn. I mean, if you want to know why I took what I took and when and why, you need to watch these and understand because I break it down. Also, I did finish the week with 22 wins and 0 losses. So this is my second flawless week since opening up my Discord room. I've had many others really close where I'm flawless all week and I choke on Friday. So I kind of thought this was going to happen this past week where I was flawless all week and Friday came, I was going to choke. So I did have a few good plays on Friday, and I just stopped. Like I think it was like halfway in the day. I just called it a day. I didn't want to do anything stupid and screw up my flawless run, and so I just took my wins and took my flawless and just ran because, like I said, it's my second one for the since the room, which was been about a year and a half, 2 years maybe. So. With that said, I'll get into the recap. You can also go on my Twitter account and you can see all the timestamps of the plays. 90% of the times the plays are called in advance in a trade ideas room. I have a trade ideas room where I mentioned if the 2 or 3 tickers in the morning at pre-market before the market opens, what I'm doing, what I'm looking at. And sometimes throughout the day, I'll post there too if I can see it before it happens. Sometimes things just happen, or I miss things, or I see things last second. I don't have time to alert it. I can't do it on every play. It's just not realistic. But I try to, so that way you can be ready, make your own decision. Also, this is not financial advice. If you're going to take the trades, it's your own discretion. Everyone has a different tolerance level than I do, so I can afford to take more risk and handle the tolerance. So that said, okay, that's out of the way. Well, Monday I had 5 trades. I had Disney right off the gate. I don't know why Roku's up. I had Disney calls right out of the gate. That is right here. What I was looking at, let me just bring up the trade ideas channel to see what I said Monday. Monday I said QCOM puts under 182.50, Apple puts under 177.40, and Disney calls over 156.50. 156.50 is right here. I am using the high of day from Friday, so that's where I get that level from. You can also see on the 1 hour, is this Friday right here? No, this is Friday right here. As you can see, it's uptrending right here on the hourly, so I was looking for its continuation. So just the third right here? Yeah, right here. So yeah, I got the 157.50 calls right at 9:40. Obviously, you can see it dipped down right here. Now, this is why you need to watch these recap videos, because I did say 156.50 right here, but when they dip at open and they come back up, I will grab it right here, and this is where I did grab it. So because if it does dip down, it has a longer way to go from down here to 156.50, and that's likely where it could possibly reject, which is exactly what it did right here. It rejected and came back down, rejected and came back down a little bit, then it popped. But yeah, so when I do give out the levels for Friday high, I'm expecting it just a straight shot run. But when it dips right at open and then starts to make a run, I change my position from this to pre-market. So that is what I did. That's why I need to watch these, because most people in the room that know me know that I do that, because, like I said, if it's already dropping, it has more ground to cover to get back to the my level. If it does get to it and it does drop quite a bit, it's likely to reject. So that's why I do that. So yeah, those 157.50 calls went from 130 to 168. So not a bad move. You get spoiled playing SPX. So when you get a 40-cent move on Apple or Disney or Spy or anything like that, you're just like, that's kind of pitiful. But they don't really move like SPX. And when you get used to playing SPX, and SPX is running $2, $3, $4, $5 all the time, and you play something else, it's just like, why am I even playing this? Because it barely moves. It's barely worth your time. And I kind of agree with that, but it is what it is. You can't trade SPX when its prices are too high, because if you do and it goes against you, you can lose just as much. So with that said, the next one was Spy. Actually, the rest of the day was Spy. I played the next 2 or 3 plays of Spy. Let's see, where is the third? The third is right here. Okay, these two are blended together. I gotta actually see the timestamp. 9:47. And this is exactly what I did here. Did I say? I didn't say. I didn't say Spy puts. Yeah, see, Spy was just a. I didn't say in the trade ideas room, it was a spontaneous thing. Right here, you can see it popped up and it harshly rejected. As soon as it broke this area right here, this 170, this 476.50-ish area, 30-ish, that's where I grabbed the 476 puts at $1.05, then went to 251 in that little dump right there. Plus, I was also, you can see a head and shoulders right here. You get the left and you get the head, and you can see it started to look like it was making a right, but I mean, it didn't even have a chance to make the right. It just went boom, it just flushed right there. So as soon as it popped up, I always watch Spy, especially on expiration days. And as soon as it popped up and it came back with a harsh rejection, I grabbed it right here, and that was just a really, really nice play. So that the 476 went from $1.05 to 251, so that was a 100% move right there on that play. Then I ended up grabbing Spy calls at 11:21. Now I do see, I said something about Spy calls. What time was this? Over VWAP. What's the timestamp on this? 12:14. Oh no, I'm not quite there yet. Okay, yeah, the next Spy's calls was 11:21. So 11:21 is right. 11:21. Where'd I grab it? Right here. I grabbed it right there. 11:21. Yeah, I grabbed it right in here. And they went from 90, the 475 calls went from 96 cents to 125. I'm going to imagine I got it right in here, probably at the bottom of this candle. And this is where I got that little bit of a move right there, because at that 475 calls are already in the money. So they will move, in the money 25, 30 cents on that little bit of a play right there. So, and good thing that I did take it, because it dumped more, but I did grab it again at 12:21, which is right here. Now, I did grab it right here. I said that I'd take it over VWAP. I grabbed it a little early. Also, if you're in the room and you've been around me long enough, you also know that I buy things in anticipation of breakout, because when you have a breakout, you usually have strong moves like these, like this right here, and like this when it was broke down right here, I had a strong move. So sometimes I like to buy the anticipation, and sometimes I get faked out for that. But I try to be as accurate as possible, because no one likes losing, especially me. But right here, we grabbed this little play right here, flushed down, it came back up. I wasn't quite sure, but when it did break these candles right here over the 475.50 area, that's where I grabbed it. So it popped a little bit there. So those 475 calls I got at 115, and they went to 270 if you held all the way through. So that was another 100% play right there if you held all the way through. Then I ended up grabbing SPX at the end of the day at 339, which is right here. Now, Spy likes to dump Well, it's been the last 10 minutes of every day. Right there, last 10 minutes on Friday. You see, it was like the last half an hour on Thursday. Last 10 minutes right here on Wednesday. See, 10 minutes. I mean, usually the last 10 minutes, SPY has been making a strong move. You just got to anticipate which way it's going to go. Usually it's been down. So let me get the right day here, right here. So I was watching the double top right here. I mean, it double topped here, triple topped here. It's rejected right here. I grabbed it right here, and it did flush. I had the 470, the 47.90 puts at $2, and I hit 16 cents, $2.15, and they went to $6 in that little drop. And you can, I mean, if you're up, if you get it at 215 and you're up to $6, you gotta take it. You can't leave $3 plus on the table. That's just foolish. I mean, you got to take your money, because if you didn't, you just lost it. And SPX is a widowmaker. You know, you got to take your base hits. You can't hope for home runs, because you never know which one's going to be the home run. So anytime you're up 50 cents a dollar, you got to take it. You can't sit there and wait for a $10 move, because if you do, you're going to lose more than you win, and that's just not worth it. So now on to Tuesday. I had 6 wins. Let's see. First one I had was Apple. Yeah, Apple. Let me get into the Trade Ideas channel and see what I call pre-market on the 4th. Oh, where is it? The 4th, I said SPY puts under 48.70. Facebook calls over 340.50. Apple puts under 182. 182 is right here, and this is where it had resistance right here, 182, and now it's acting as kind of like support, this area. So when it got below it, that's what I was looking for. So I did grab it. And also one of the things I was also looking at was this orange line down here is the regression channel trend line. Anytime price gets far away from it, it acts as a magnet. I like trading into the RCT trend line, because Apple's up so much. It's going to come back down and likely retest it, and it did right here. See, right there it is. Boom. I mean, you'll look at it on the hourly. Anytime it gets a strong move up, it comes back and retests it. Strong moves up, come back and retest it. It dips below it, it retests it. Play into the line. If it's below it, calls to it. If it's above it, puts to it. So it's pretty simple. It's pretty clear cut. You just play into the direction of the RCT trend line. It works really, really well. So as you can see right here, right now it's below it, so Apple's going to be one to watch going up this week. Plus, you got earnings. So anyways, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Earnings season's coming up. The banks report this week, and next week and the week after is when the big boys start releasing earnings, like Microsoft and Amazon, Facebook, Google, Apple, and stuff like that. So now let's see. I had Apple puts under 180. It was the 180 puts under 180, under 182. The 180 puts, and I went from 115 to 224 if you held all the way through. I know I didn't. I got out because it was chopping, then it just finally slammed. I know a couple people in the room actually did hold through it, and that paid off really well for them. So congrats to them. But yeah, that was, a very choppy. It was kept going back and forth, and I did not like that. So I took my money and got out. I got out green, so I'm not going to complain about that. Then I had SPY puts at let's see, make sure I get the right day here, the 4th. I had SPY puts at 10:02, which is right here, I believe. Yeah, right here. You see, it's rejecting pre-market high of this 479, and I grabbed it right here. As soon as I grabbed it, it popped back up, then it dropped. 1034. right here. Okay, it looks like that I grabbed it here. I'm trying to look and see. Yeah, right. I grabbed it right in here, and I did sell it on this little drop right there. So I scalped it right in here. Then it popped back up. Then I grabbed it again right down here. So yeah, the 478 puts I grabbed right in here, and they went from 99 cents to 121. So they didn't get much of a move. Then it popped back up, and I grabbed it again right here. I really don't like it chopping near high a day because usually it can break out, and I hate to be shorting at the high a day, especially at the end of the day, because that's where you end up seeing the market makers shenanigans a lot, is at the end of the day. So I kind of get nervous about that. But yeah, I grabbed it right in here, got this little drop right here. Then I got sold it. Then I grabbed it again when it came back down. So this time I grabbed the 478 puts again, this time at 96 cents. And they went from 96 cents to 248 in that drop right there. Then I ended up grabbing SPY calls at 1056, which is right here. Now I grabbed it here because I was looking at over here to the left. I was looking at the 1056. I think it was right in 1056 was this candle right here. Yeah, I grabbed the 478 calls at $1.40, saying that was risky because of I was knife catching. Now I was also looking at look at the exaggerated drop right here from practically 480 to 476.50. So you're talking a $3.50 move, and this area likes to hold right around the 475.50, 476.50. So I grabbed it right down here, trying to knife catch, and luckily, because usually when you have these strong knife catches, a lot of the time when you have these long red candles, they'll retrace like 50% of it, like it did right here. I'll blow it up so you can see it, so you're not looking at, you get this candle right here. I grabbed it and it retraced back up 50%. But you see, when you have these long red candles, you don't do it on the first one. You do it after, like, there's a couple of them or 2 or 3 of them. Then it will retrace like 50% of it. So yeah, I did grab the 140 calls rate. I think I grabbed it right in here. Now I did average down. Looks like I averaged down at 1105. That was down over here. No, wait a minute. I think I screwed up. 1056. No, I bought it right in here. Okay, I bought it right in here. I'm gonna have to bring it down to the 3 minute so I can actually see the actual timestamp. We get the right day here. The 4th, is it? Okay, the 4th. Okay, the first one, I do remember this. I got it at 10:56, which is right here. I grabbed it right here. Okay, I grabbed it prematurely. Okay, I didn't grab it, but I did see the levels down here, and that's why I added. I did grab it right here. Then I averaged down here. I added more at $1.20. No, I added more at $1, making my new average to $1.20. I think I had 10 contracts at $1.40. Then I added 10 more to bring the average down to 120, and I ended up selling right in here. They did go from the 120 to 136 in that little pop right there. So it did work out. I don't usually average down, and but once in a while I do something like that. But it was just, yeah, this was a non-expiration day. That's why I don't mind averaging down on non-expiration days, but I don't like doing it at all. But if I do on a non-expiration day, if I'm confident in the play, and this was such a big drop, I did grab it too mature. I probably grabbed it for a bounce off the 200 EMA. If I look at my notes, that's probably where I grabbed it, right in here, thinking it was going to bounce off this area right here. But then you had this line down here, so yeah. But it all worked out, and as you can see, it rejected the 200 EMA. But yeah, I did get out green. I did average down and get out green, so I'm happy about that. Then I ended up grabbing, let's see, what calls were they? They were the 478 calls that averaged down. Then I ended up grabbing the 477 calls at 101, which is right, where is 101? Right here. Double bottom is where I grabbed it. I grabbed the 477 calls at $1.29 for a double bottom play. They did pop a little bit. They went from, let's see, 129 to 154 in that little play. Then I ended up grabbing puts. What time were the puts? At 354, right at the end of the day. Yeah, I did grab not SPX, sorry. I grabbed SPY 478 puts at $1.03. And this was the huge knife at the end of the day. They went from $1.03 to $1.48. Wait a minute. What time did I grab them? Why? They should have gone a lot higher than that. 354. I probably grabbed it right here. I think I grabbed it right down here when it broke below this area. That's why they didn't run as much as I thought. 103 to 148. Because if I grabbed it up here, they would have probably gone to probably $2 or something like that. Because that's a 479. That's almost a $1.50 drop. So, but yeah, I probably grabbed it right in here. Is where I grabbed it. And that's where I got the 103 to 148 remove right there. And that was the last 10-minute play. So it ends up working out like charm all week. Does it work all week? Yeah, no. It dropped all day. It's FOMC. No. Friday. The one thing I've noticed is that Friday end of days, it does not have Friday expiration days haven't been really that much. That's why I called it early on Friday, because the end of the day has just been kind of ridiculous and hasn't really moved that much. So now on to Wednesday. Now Wednesday was a day where we had FOMC, and we didn't have Powell speak, but I've been noticing that whenever you get the days, because you have a few days of the year where Powell and the Fed, the FOMC will have like three things happening. They'll have like the announcement, then Powell's speech, then they'll have their onward guidance or projections. It usually happens a couple times a year, 2 or 3 times a year, maybe quarterly. And that used to be the big movers in the past. And every time you get those, you think it's going to be a big mover, and it really doesn't really amount to much. But I've noticed that the last year, the movers have been the ones where Powell's not speaking. There's no projection. It's just the statement. Something comes out, they catch people off guard, and the market slams or squeezes like crazy. And it's happened quite a few times this past year, 2021, that the FOMC hasn't really done much for the three projections, but the announcement, the conference, and the projections hasn't added up to much or done much. But yet, when you just have the announcement and no Powell, have been really big movers and catch people off guard, and that is what happened on this past FOMC. And I actually said something in the room that watch some things, they're going to catch somebody off guard, they're going to catch the market off guard, and it did. So, but I did take, let's look at the trade ideas first on Wednesday morning, which was the 5th. Microsoft calls over 329, SPY calls over 478, and BA puts under 214. Now I did take SPY calls at 941. It dropped down. I grabbed it right here. It looks like I grabbed it right here on the support. And actually, I think I tried to grab it right here when it's tried to break out, and it chopped, came back down, and popped a little bit. I grabbed the 477 calls at 127, and they went to 153. Yeah, and that little push right there. So then I ended up grabbing, because I was expecting a breakout right here, and usually what happens on FOMC day, especially if something's going to happen, they like to push the market up. So if there's a big drop, the drop won't look as bad. And the market does tend to run into FOMC. You will either chop, or you'll have a slow grind up until the announcement, and that's what I thought was going to happen. And it popped a little bit, that ended up being a fake out. But I did grab puts at 1039, which is right here, right when it started, when he had this false breakout and came back down. This is where I grabbed it. I grabbed the 477 puts at 90 cents, and they went from 90 cents to 123 in that little drop right there. Then I ended up taking a SPX move at 1238, which is right here. Now, as you can see, it dropped down, popped back up, rejecting the 200 EMA, rejected it here, rejected it here. As soon as it got back down here with this strong red candle right here, I jumped in the 47.65 puts at $3, and they went from $3 to $6.65 right there. So that was a $3 plus move on that right there, 100% move on that right there. And then it just chopped. That was kind of I was a little nervous about taking that at noontime, 12:38, because usually when you get closer to FOMC, you end up seeing choppier moves, and it did take that, and it did work out. So that was a nice little play right there. Then they had the FOMC play, which ends up always being a strangle. And the one thing that I noticed was the last FOMC, when I had to strangle, I had to play like 100-point spread. I mean, I was buying calls. Actually, you know what? I think I could probably search for it on the FOMC in the room. Let's see. Well, just looking at last time, because when I was looking at the strike prices when I was going into FOMC, I was thinking, wow, they're really close. Yeah, see, I was playing the 46.65 calls and the 45.80 puts, which is almost 100 points. I think it's like 85 points away from each other. And I remember that, yeah, not only were they almost 100 points apart, they were like $5 a contract back because they're expecting a strong move. Now, this time, I'm only playing 30-cent spread versus almost 100, and they're closer to $2.50, $3. So you're getting at 30-cent spread for half the price. So to me, SPX seemed cheap. Seemed like it was going to have a good move. Sometimes, looks can be deceiving, and it could have chopped. So yeah, I had the 47.90 calls at 240 and the 47.60 puts at 330, and it did pop. When the first move on FOMC, you got to understand how FOMC works. Usually the first move is the wrong one, and it did pop. So when the first move popped, I sold into it. I did end up selling my calls on that pop. They went from the calls went from 240 to 580. I think I sold somewhere in the high 40, the high fours, or maybe low fives. I don't quite remember. Got out of that. Then it just dumped. So I ended up the 47.60 puts I had at $3.30 ended up going to like $55 if you held all the way through. I think I ended up selling, I don't remember exactly. Let's see. Yeah, I sold it like 5 in both directions. So yeah. But yeah, so they went through from $3.30 to $55 if you held all the way through. Now, somebody in the room held into the 40s, so they had a huge day. So I'm very happy to hear that. So I was not expecting this impact of a dump on SPY. They said that there was going to be a rate increase in March, or a threat of one, or a higher percentage or something, and the market didn't like that and just freaked out big time. So what's going to end up happening is the market's going to go back up. It's going to end up going back up to all-time highs into the next FOMC, and if they do rate high, you're going to end up seeing this again. So I'll be looking forward for that. But anyways, that was FOMC. FOMC is a completely different animals. Whatever the Powell says, the Fed statement says, is going to trump any technicals. That's why you play strangles, to cover both your bases, just in case something doesn't work out. Now, I think the last FOMC or the one before that, I was expecting a dump, and it just squeezed like crazy. So even with bad news, it squeezed. So that's why you need to play strangles on that and understand how it works and the mechanics of it, and just play accordingly. Then I ended up playing SPX calls at 319. Now I tried to catch the knife, 319, I think it's right around in here. Yeah, right here. I thought it was starting to base right in here. And I grabbed it right here. And I got the 47.35 calls at 210. And they went from 210 to 290. I grabbed it right in here. What time was the time step again? 319. So I grabbed it in this candle right here. I probably grabbed it right down in here. I mean, you're talking a, oh yeah, I do remember saying in the room at 470, I'm going to take calls. As soon as it got below 470, I grabbed it. And that's how I got the move. That's how I was precisely able to get that move right there from 210 to 290, I think. Yeah, 210 to 290. So that was FOMC day, and now we have Thursday. Thursday didn't trade that much. I took SPY again, took SPY calls. I was actually looking after this exaggerated move that the RCT trend line is way up here and price is down here. I was expecting a strong move. Last time, you know, we had a drop like this and we had a huge gap between price and the RCT trend line. SPY grabbed it all in one day, and which kind of blew my mind. So I was thinking, okay, maybe it will happen again right here. So I did grab the, let's see what the Trade Ideas channel says. SPY calls over 469.50 and Microsoft calls over 318. So the rate 369.50, 469.50, which is pre-market high right in here. Got it right there, as you can see. I had the 470 calls at 170, and they went from 170 to 249, and that push up. I think it dropped a little bit, and I grabbed it here. I grabbed it a little early. And that was a nice little play, 170, 249. So that was, did I grab it? Yeah, I had it. No, it was at the money. For some reason, I thought it was in the money already. Then I grabbed Microsoft calls. This one I actually thought was going to have a strong move. What day is this? Right here, Thursday. I actually thought this was going to be a strong move. I grabbed it at 1027, which is right here. It started to pop. It didn't. It dropped, came back down, started, you know, dropping. Then it rebounded. And as soon as it came back above this area, I was interested. So I grabbed the 322.50 calls at $1.10. They went to $1.27. Not much of a move. And then it just chopped the rest of the day. So then I ended up taking PayPal. PayPal was one that I held overnight. Let's see. Yeah, because I was looking at this. I was looking at this massive candle, RCT trend line rejection right here. Came back up. I grabbed it right here, thinking it was going to reject, and it just kept going and going and going. But I kept looking at the volatility of this. I mean, so I was like, okay, it gets out of it a little bit. It's going to come back down. I thought for sure it was going to come back down, and it just started grinding up. So I just held on to it. You know, I was been flawless all week long, and I didn't want this to be my only loser, and I was also looking at it from the point of view that it's probably more than likely going to drop, because I kept looking at the hourly, and every time it gets into this 193, 194 area, it likes to harshly reject, and it went above it a little bit right here, but then it had a massive rejection on, what day is this? The 4th, which is what? Tuesday. So I was expecting, you know, right in here it to do the same thing, but I was also looking up in here. I was like, okay, this 194 area, even if it gets above it, it could reject the next day. So I mean, every time right here, rejection, 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 rejection. So I was like, okay, I'm going to hang on to this because I think it's going to reject. Even though in the daily, it looks like it's getting ready to break out, but I was looking at it from the 1 hour perspective only, that it was going to have a harsh rejection, and they did end up rejecting the next day and had a harsh flush. So yeah, I did end up holding overnight and selling the next day. So I had the 190 puts. Like I said, I grabbed right over here. Held it, so they went from 160 to 376 right here. So yeah, went against me, held it, and then it finally flushed. When the hourly did pay off, it didn't like the way the hourly was looking. So plus I didn't want this to end up taking a loss on this, knowing that I was actually going to be right if I held it overnight. So That's why I always say that my risk tolerance is a lot higher than most people, because I'm not afraid to hold it against. And if it does go against me and ends up going red, I can make it up on the next play. I'm not worried about any of that. So yeah, that ended up being a nice 100% move on PayPal, 160 to 376. I'm not going to complain about that. So that did end up working out. And the last play on Thursday was SPY puts at 204, which is right 204 right here. Grabbed it right here, it popped, and it finally dropped right there. So they did go from one. I had the 467 puts at $1.44. Grabbed right here, went against me. Then it had the end of the day flush right there. So, but I was also looking at it from the point of view. I remember sitting in the room, possible head and shoulders. You get the left, the head, and the right shoulder right here. As long as it didn't get over the higher day, which it didn't, I was fine. And then when it finally got this 478 rejected, and it flushed right, well, it dropped right there. So they did end up going green and going from 144 to 170. So that head and shoulders did end up playing out. I saw that ahead of time. I was tempted to get out right in here, but I kept thinking to myself, it's a head and shoulders. It's going to end up playing out. As long as it doesn't break the high of day, it's still valid, and it was still valid, and it did play out. So sometimes you just got to look at the bigger picture and trust your instincts. So that I did. Then on Friday, what's Friday's Trade Ideas channel says SPY calls over 469. Baba puts under 130. And what did Baba end up doing? I think Baba ended up popping. Yeah, it popped and it finally dropped. But when I was watching it, and the spreads were really, really nasty. I mean, they were like 50 cents. And I was just like, no, I'm all set with that. So I grabbed the 469. And this is where I ended up doing my little thing right here. I had the 469 level, which is close to pre-market high. I rounded up. Well, yeah, 469 is right there. I called 469, but because it dropped at open, I changed my level to this right at this OBR, which is open range breakout. That's where I ended up grabbing it. I grabbed the 468 calls at $1.50. And then went from $1.50 to $1.99, did double top. This is why I do that, because if it drops, and I did try to break it right here, try to break out right here, it ends up being a fake out, and this time it did fake out and ended up dropping. So by me changing that to here, were able to get a little bit of a move before it faked out. So yeah, that's why I do that, is for this exact reason right here. Then I took Microsoft. Microsoft just looks like it's ready to go, and it just can't seem to go. I grabbed the 317.50 calls at 9.57 right here. I grabbed it. Same thing. It dropped, came back up, grabbed it with pre-market OBR over open range breakout over the opening candle. And the 317.50 calls went from 95 cents to $1.15. Not much. I mean, I think that this is ready for a strong move, Microsoft. So just wasn't able to give it to me here or here. That's why I keep watching it. It's gonna do it. It's just a matter of when. Then the last one was SPY puts right here. Let's see, at 10:10. I called it really early. 10:10 right here. No, right in here. Yeah, right when it broke below this candle right here is where I grabbed it. I grabbed the 467 puts at $1.04, and then went from $1.04 to 277. And that is where I called it a day. I mean, it wasn't even noontime. It was like a little after 10. I didn't, had a flawless week. I was very happy that PayPal worked out. That was the only thing that I was hanging on to that had a potential to be a loser. And when Microsoft and SPY didn't give me too much, and I took this play, I was just like, okay, these kind of days end up being the days I end up taking a loss where things aren't really moving that well. But SPY actually did right here. Then it just ended up chopping all day, and I wasn't interested. So I called it a day. wanted to keep my flawless record for the week intact, and I did. So I don't normally do that, but you know, Friday expiration days have just been very choppy. It hasn't been that much of a mover lately, so I decided to call it. So I think I rambled a lot, but anyways, I think you guys get the point, and hope to see you in the room. And thanks for watching.